Okay, therefore the Negro nations are, as a rule, submissive to slavery because Negroes have little that is essentially human and possesses attributes that are quite similar to those of dumb animals, as we have stated. In the Muqaddimah, it also says in the Introduction to History in the 3 volumes by Ibn Khaldun, page 117, it says, of neighbors of the Buja, Magdisi had heard that there is no marriage among them. The child does not know his father, and they eat people, but God knows best. As for the Zenj, Zenji is a term that they use as nigger from Zanzibar. As for the Zenji, they are people of black color, flat noses, kinky hair, and little understanding or intelligence. This is what's taught. I always ask, how come your God doesn't impress something upon your mind to see us in a different light? How come your God has us treating us like, have you treating us like this? But we're gonna go forward. Let's go to the next one. Slavery condoned in the Hadith, because you have Muslims that read the Hadith. This is true. I could not properly address Islam unless I address all the things that Muslims get into. So we'll read Muslim book 0103-901, and we'll read Jabir. Allah be pleased with him. Reported, there came a slave and pledged allegiance to Allah's apostle. May peace be upon him. On migration, he, the Holy Prophet, did not know that he was a slave. Then there came his master and demanded him back, whereupon Allah's apostle, which is Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, said, sell him to me. And he bought him for 2 black slaves, and he did not afterwards take allegiance from anyone until he had asked him whether he was a slave or a free man. So the Prophet of Islam, according to the Muslims, especially the black ones, that quote from the Hadith, your Prophet had 2 black slaves and traded 2 black slaves for 1 Muslim. What is your so-called black prophet doing with 2 black slaves? And why is he trading 2 black slaves for 1 Muslim? Wow. There's a number of things being said there. A number of things. But we're going to go to the next one. Because we want to also explore the effects that Islam has on indigenous people. This is so very important. Now I'm going to leave it on this note. Because there's nothing, no one is going to say that's going to override this point right here. When I talk to people about the sub-Saharan slave trade, it contrasts immensely to the transatlantic slave trade. We were enslaved for 400 plus years. 1 minute. 400 plus years we were enslaved. But in Africa, under Arab rule, Prophet Muhammad purportedly died in 632. Our slavery begins in 650 to 1900. Over 1,200 years of oppression under members of the Islamic movement. I would like to know. I need to know. We're gonna give him his minutes. This is what I want to know. I don't want to hear, you got to learn to write Arabic in the Quran. You can't give me an Arabic language ice pack for being enslaved for 1,200 years. You ain't reading the Quran right. Nigga, we was enslaved under your God for 1,200 years. Was those people calling on Yahweh Shai? Was those people calling on any or Buddha? Those people's calling on Allah. Why is this important? If somebody stole from your mother, 5 minutes. If someone stole from your mother, could they come to you and ask you for help? What would you do if someone stole from your mother and then had the gall to come to you and call on your name for help?
Kill him, I kill him.
I want to know this. How can I as a slave pray to Allah and simultaneously the slave master is praying to Allah? Whose prayer is being answered if we was enslaved for 1,200 years? How the hell can I pray to the same God as my slave master? This is a question we gotta ask every day of the week. We put the books to the side. I'm not going to try to bedazzle you with any books. I'm done with the harmonious morphological calc. done with the syntactic analysis. I'm done with the gerundival participle. Let's keep it simple and plain. I was praying to Allah for 1,200 years. My slave master was praying to Allah for 1,200 years. After year 1, Allah didn't let up. He didn't say, nigga, how can you call on me and you oppressing my people? After 50 years, Allah didn't intercede and say, yo, hold on. You double castrating these people. They won't be able to produce amongst themselves. After 200 years, Allah didn't say, let's let up. After 500 years, Allah showed us no mercy, but he said, Allah is the merciful. To who? After 1,000 years of oppression, I'm calling on Allah, and my slave master calling on Allah, and I'm still being raped, robbed, and pillaged. Then we in 1,100 years of us calling on Allah and the slave master calling on Allah. Then we into 1,200 years. And the only thing that came out of it was that we got sold to a new master and brought in America for more oppression. But we want to pull out books and make this shit difficult. What part of 1,200 years under some God and getting no refuge doesn't register in people's heads? 5 more minutes to talk about what? You've been enslaved for over 1,000 years, praying to the same God of your slave master, and he never answered your call. And people wonder why I'm upset. All of us should be upset. DNA is real. It's called epigenome. Genetic memory gets dumped into the DNAs of our offsprings. If the slave master raped you, not for 1 generation, not for 2, not for 3, but over 10. If the slave master rapes you for over 1,000 years, in 1 generation, you become like your mother or father, point blank period. Imagine a whole 1,000 years.
2 minutes.
So this means you got DNA in you that when you eat certain foods that are anti-African, you can resurrect the incentives of that slave master. All of you are like your mother and all of you are like your father. But certainly we were raped and bastardized and had an adopted father, not for one lifetime. We have an adopted father for over 1,000 years. You are more like this devil than you know. If you listen to his music, if you eat his food, if you wear his clothes, and definitely if you pray to his God. Every time you say that name, there's a part of your DNA that cringes. Because now you're so-called free. And with your freedom, what do? Go back to Master's God. You ain't never gonna be free until you come back into your own way of life. You ain't never gonna be free until you call on your own God. You ain't never gonna be free until you speak in your own language. So I'm done. Scholarship time. We had 40 whole minutes for scholarship. What did you do with it? Nothing. It just dawned to you where you was at today. Now you want to put it together. There's nothing left. I could have killed this debate without all of that and just said we were praying to the same God for 1,200 years. What did we get out of it? How we still, I'll call any name but that name. Starting with our mothers and our fathers immediately. We too damn deep. You want to pray to an unseen God when the seen God is right here before your eyes. That's why we have to have an economic debate after this. Because after a while, this religious talk gets weird. It defies common sense. Common sense tells you over 1,000 years you call on this God. And all you got was your balls, your penis taken.
Waste of time, brother. Waste of time.
It's a waste of time. I'm glad we done. I'm getting frustrated. Thank you for your time.